Good afternoon, my name is Stefan Kaut. I'm the executive chef of the Mandarin Oriental in Washington, D.C. And today we're going to make meatballs. So there's two parts of it. First of all, we need the meat, and today we're using ground beef. What you can do is half ground beef, half pork, or you can even do turkey. No problem at all. The only thing with turkey is it's a little bit softer. The dough will be a little bit softer. So the first part of it is we need some milk, we need some bread. I use like 12 grain. You can use anything you like. And we need some onions. And then we do the first part. We glazing the onions, a little bit garlic, and the bread. Add milk, add some herbs, and then we have to cool that down. And then we're making the dough with the beef, the bread mix, and the eggs. And then we go from there. So first part, this is something. It's always fun when in a couple of the episodes before, I talked about my mother, about the ski mask and the onions. This is her first, or my bread knife now, but this is from the 60s. This still has the wood handle, like all the modern knives have plastic, so it's amazing what you stick around with in your whole life, so it's just great. You cut the crust off on this side with your bread knife, and then you just cut cubes. And that's the audience outside, what you hear in the background. And they're already clapping to the things we're doing here. So, and then when you have the bread, you just spread it out a little bit. It's gonna be all fine. And then we take care of the rind. And then we're gonna take the onion, like we did also before, cut it in half. And like I explained before, we have the core in the back. And then we go again with the claw from the back to the front. Take your time with this. I'm doing this as a professional, so please take your time. There's no need for rush. Very good. And then you have your beautiful brunoise. Of course, we came prepared, so we already had some, and putting those in here. And then I cut a little bit garlic before, same way what we have right here. And then we move over to the stove. So you take your roasting pan and a little bit olive oil again. Get it up to heat. And first thing we're going to do, we're going to glaze the onions with the garlic. Very nice. A little bit more of the olive oil. Seasoning, like I explained before, I like to use the sea salt and a couple rounds of fresh cracked pepper. The herbs, I'm using an Italian mix for the meatballs, and moving it around with our wooden spoon and beginning glazing nicely. Have our bread. And then what we use too is some fresh milk. I use whole milk. But you can use any kind, whatever you like. But like my mom always said, fat is flavor. So whole milk is just fine for this. Glazing the onions for a couple of minutes. And we add the bread to it. Make sure they come all apart. Adding the herbs. You see already it gets a little bit more firm. The bread is soaking up the oil and the flavor of the onions. Beautiful. And then we're adding the milk. And of course the bread will absorb the milk now. Of course, if you're gluten-free, you can forget the bread, but I love the bread because it gives really fluffiness to the meatballs, and you will see the result when you eat them. And we make sure it's softened up nicely, and the bread absorbs all the milk. Oh, it smells already great with the Italian herbs. Just fantastic. And we take it on a plate, so very nice. Cut off the heat. And let it out a little bit, and what we need to do now is we need to cool it down. So I take a little bit plastic wrap. And we're going to move this into the freezer, and soon it's cooled down, we can continue. See you in a little. Now we should be good, and it should be all cooled down. Yeah, nice and cool. Very good. We take the plastic wrap off. And we're adding our bread, herbs, and the onions to our meat. Like I mentioned before, today we're using beef. Normally, or how I learned it with my mom, was half and half pork and half beef. I use a glove in this method because it's really messy when you do the dough with the eggs and stuff. So you have it much easier later on to wash your hands and clean your hands, and don't have the fat sticking to your hands, because if you have cold hands. And the beef is 85-15, and then when you add pork, you have a little bit more greasy, and then it sticks all to your hands. So in this method, I use 6 eggs, good amount of cracked fresh pepper, and we have a good amount of beef, so we're using the bigger side of the salt, but still be careful. Very good. So, and then we're going to finish the dough and working it nicely. The eggs under the beef, you got to make sure you go to the bottom of the bowl and mix everything. And you see we already get standing ovation from outside. And make sure that everything is moved in. Oops. Takes a couple of minutes until you have really everything nice and smooth. And if you're not sure if you have enough seasoning, you do not have to eat the raw meat if you don't like to. And what you can do is you do a little sample. You take a little sample in this pan, and then you cook it, and then you taste it. And if you feel like you need a little bit more seasoning, you can do so. So it looks pretty good to me. And good. Taking the gloves off. And then we move over to this side. So there's 2 options we have. We can use a little bowl with some water, and that's the second one I will do. and we use our hands and we just do it by feeling. But what you also can do is ice cream scoop. Take one like this, put it in your hands, or put it right directly on the board. If they're a little bit too big, you use a smaller one, or what you do is you wet in your hands and then you roll them right away and you put them either on your board, or what you can do is, like we do right now, I'm going to show you. Pan is already hot, olive oil, got to put the exhaust on. And put them right in here. You're not going to need too much olive oil because the fat in the meatballs is going to go into the pan and it gives you a nice feeling to cook it. And the size is completely up to you. If you like them bigger, you make them bigger. If you like them smaller, it's entirely up to you how you like them and what size you want them. One more. Very good. So, then we can use an ordinary spatula to move them over. You see, nice gold brown. Beautiful color. Ah, fantastic. Already hungry. Make sure you give them enough time so they get good color. And don't pack the pan too close because you're going to have a problem to move them over, especially if the dough is a little bit softer. I like to use more eggs, makes it more fluffy, but it makes the dough also a little bit more soft, so it's a little bit harder to turn them over. Let's give those guys a little bit more time to brown. Beautiful. And of course you could do the same with your tongs. But like I said, dough is pretty soft. It's a little bit easier to do it with the spatula. I want to give those guys a little bit more time. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Absolute fantastic. So that's what we're going to do. I preheated the oven to 380, and then we take the pan and put it right into the oven. Great. And then we cook them around between 10-12 minutes. We've got to double check. All depends, of course, of the size. And then when they're ready, we come back. Okay, we should be good. Stick the towel, be careful. Pan very hot, oven hot. So, they release some egg white. But we should be good. So, let's take a look. Pick them out nicely into the bowl. Oh, beautiful. This is quite normal that you have the egg white. Look at this. Great. We'll see you next time. Bye.